Hey, if you're looking to extend your growing season, would I recommend the Flower House brand greenhouse? Stay with me. We'll find out. Welcome to my Goat Shed Live, where I live in what used to be an abandoned old goat shed, leaving folks to wonder what in the world is that woman up to now. Last fall, we determined that we would like to purchase a greenhouse so that maybe we could get some early starts on some of the vegetables and flowers and things such as that, and have our starts ready when it came time to plant. We purchased the Flower House Dream House, which is 8 foot by 8 foot by 8.5 foot tall. I suggested that we purchase this one because I already had a Flower House brand greenhouse here on the property that I had purchased back in late 2015, early 2016. And it had been really durable and held up well. Let me show you that one first. This is the Flower House greenhouse that I had purchased. I believe it to be 6 foot by 6 foot and about 6.5 foot tall. It has held up really well. It hasn't got any rips in the seams. What we've done is we've just kind of converted this into a tool shed. But it makes a good tool shed, and because it had held up so well, I recommended that we buy another Flower House. They're pretty easy to put up. They're pop-up, and they have some pretty neat features about them. Let's go look at the other one. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell, ding-a-ling, so you'll get notifications of my future antics. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Become a shed head. We have a lot of fun here at the Goat Shed. As I said, this one was 8 foot by 8 foot. Also, it had 2 doors that zip up completely. A good amount of room. Of course, we don't have anything in here now because, well, it's hot. One of the other features that I really like about these greenhouses is a little hole down here at the bottom through which you can run an extension cord if you want to put a heater in, or a water hose for watering, so that you don't have to open and close. And there are actually 4 of those openings on this particular greenhouse. One of the other things that I really liked about this guy was windows that you could open up. You got the little strap so you could keep that open for ventilation, and there are 4 of these on each side of this little greenhouse. This thing has been sitting here since October of last year, and back in July we started to notice this really kind of, coming apart at the seams. And we were thinking, goodness gracious, that doesn't make good sense. And I felt bad because I had recommended this thing, and it just was starting to rip apart. And I noticed when I put the greenhouse together that it was this particular pole up here in the middle was really tight. And the side braces seemed to be a little bit long. When we noticed that it had started to deteriorate after only 10 months, we had purchased it from Amazon.com, and we went ahead and went back to see when it was purchased, and certainly enough, it had been less than a year. And Flower House carries a 1-year warranty. And I really felt like this was a manufacturer's defect, particularly since I had the other one that had really kind of stood the test of time and had been used as a starter house, as a greenhouse, and now being used as a tool shed. So we contacted the company, and at first we really didn't get a response, and then we sent them another email, and they're like, well, you need to send us back all these things that we're requesting. And what they wanted was, there was a form that needed to be filled out, and then there was a checklist of items. We needed proof of purchase, which we easily printed off of Amazon, and we also needed a picture of a tag that is on the inside of the greenhouse, as well as pictures of the defective places where the greenhouses started to come apart. Once we were able to turn all of those things in, we received another email that said that they would be happy to replace the greenhouse. This model was called a Dream House, and they're no longer making that particular model. And our choices were that we could get a spring house, which I believe is the 6x6, which is what we have already, and it's not really very roomy. Can't get a lot done in that. Then it turns into a tool shed. And our other option was what they're calling the farmhouse. And it is a 9x9, but they went on to say that we'd have to pay for the shipping. So we were actually able to get an upgrade. Once we got everything that these folks were asking for turned in, it was really only a matter of days before the replacement came in. Let's open this puppy up and see what we got. So there it is, and it clearly says that it's 8 foot tall by 9x9. And as I said, the replacement came really quickly. I am not setting this up because right now we don't need it. There's no point in setting it up and exposing it to the elements before we need it. So it'll be another month or two before we set this puppy up. In the meantime, at some point, we've got to tear that one down. And as you can see here, it tells you some other products you can get. You can black this thing out. It does come with a shade cover. And then there are other products that they have available. Have any of you had any experience with the flower houses or any other type of greenhouse that you might recommend? Please leave me a comment. Overall, would I recommend purchasing a flower house greenhouse? Would say yes. They do have a good selection of products. They even have what look like little cold frames. They're pretty reasonably priced. They're easy to set up. They're like a pop-up tent, and their customer service, as we jumped through all their hoops, they got the new greenhouse right out, and we actually got an upgrade. The downside is the screens stick right. They're just kind of flimsy, and this one's already got holes in it. The other problem is, yeah, you're gonna act nice now, huh? As that sometimes, and over time, the zippers get a little bit hard to do. Sometimes you have to snag a pair of pliers, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck. If you'd like to see the process of setting up the 8x8 greenhouse, I'll leave a link to the video so that you can watch that. Thanks.